So you want to have better luck with dating? Well, to do that, you need to delete dating apps. Yeah, I know, it sounds counterproductive. Why would you want to delete the only outlet that people use to meet new romantic partners? It's like deleting your YouTube channel so that you could post more YouTube videos. Or at least that's how I thought before I realized that dating apps are detrimental to your dating life. In fact, I'd say that they hurt more than they help, and by deleting them, you'll actually be more successful in the dating market. Let me tell you a story to explain how this works. Throughout most of college, I was big on dating apps. They were a blessing from the gods. So many options, so many opportunities, so much dopamine, so many attractive girls. Wow, my dating life is going to be amazing. So, like 99% of dudes that I know, I spent a considerable amount of time on Hinge and Tinder. I swiped, took good photos, thought of cheesy pickup lines and nice things to say, and did all of the things that everyone online tells you is the way to get matches and meet more people. And for a while, it kind of worked. I got a decent number of likes and talked to more people than I expected to. What a great introduction to college. I'm sure I'm gonna find the one in no time, I said to myself. And based on the evidence that I had, my dating life was pretty good. My friends seemed to be doing just as well. The more attractive ones would get dozens of matches, and the more average-looking guys like myself would get even a few matches here and there. It was pretty easy, and it seemed like our dating lives would be awesome in no time. We would meet new people, do fun things as a group, go on dates, and maybe even find girlfriends. Or at least, that's what we thought would happen. While I was getting matches, nothing was really happening with them. Sometimes they wouldn't respond, sometimes the conversations would die out after a few exchanges, sometimes we'd get each other's Snapchats or Instagrams, but that was pretty much the full extent of what was happening. It seemed like there was some sort of invisible barrier that was preventing me from truly connecting with these people, and it sucked. So, you won't guess what I did. I doubled down. I spent more time on the apps. I bought Tinder Premium. I started using super likes to stand out, and I was more creative with my messages to stand out among the crowd. And, well, nothing changed. In fact, in 3 to 4 years of using dating apps off and on in college, want to know how many dates I went on? 4. That's 1 date per year. And want to know how many second dates I went on with those girls? 1. And the girl I went on a second date with ended up being absolutely insane, and I had to block her on everything because I thought she was going to kill me. And no, I'm not exaggerating. Welcome to modern dating, my friends. See, I undoubtedly swiped through hundreds or maybe even thousands of people over that 4-year period of time, and I had nothing to show for it. And it wasn't just me. My friends were even more active on the apps than I was, and some of them would get 10 plus matches per week. And even with that in mind, none of them were really going on dates either, and by the end of college, we were all basically still single. And I started to realize something. Dating apps hurt more than they help. See, the human brain doesn't fully understand the virtual world. It's not a real thing, and we don't really know the difference between it and reality. That's why video games feel so immersive sometimes, because our brain is interpreting it as overcoming real challenges and completing real tasks. And this weird misinterpretation of reality carries over into dating apps as well. If we go on Tinder and swipe through 1,000 semi-attractive girls, our brain doesn't know the difference and thinks, wow, look at all these options I have. My dating life sure is going well. That dopamine hit from getting a new match or a new message feels the same way as getting eye contact and a smile from a girl at a coffee shop. That initial message feels like the approach in public, minus the nervousness. We're under the illusion that we're doing so well in dating, but it's all a facade. And even if you aren't doing well, you still have the illusion that you have infinite options, and that's just not reality. Since we have thousands of options at our fingertips with no risk of rejection, we stop even thinking about approaching girls in public. We subconsciously think that there's no reason to approach the pretty girl at the bar or in class because our dating lives are going so well that we don't even need to do it. In fact, as soon as we get home, we're going to go on Tinder or Hinge and swipe our way through 100 potential options. How amazing. In fact, when I was big on dating apps, I even got to a point where the idea of approaching a girl in public wasn't even on the radar anymore. It went from the feeling of, wow, I really like that girl, I should go up to her and introduce myself, to just nothing. It's like real life approaches weren't even in the realm of possibilities anymore. Instead of strategizing how I was gonna get that girl's number, the idea of doing that didn't even exist. And I don't know if this is random or if this is just a me thing, but it was weird. But I think I'm not alone on this. I have friends who had really good Hinge accounts with matches rolling in every single day that wouldn't even say a single word to a girl in person. And this is something that I have seen across the board while I was in college. People didn't even talk to each other at bars anymore. They just sat around on their phones, went on social media and dating apps, and then longed for a relationship when they were once again sober. And if they deleted dating apps, maybe they wouldn't feel so lonely. See, throughout history, men were lucky to get one or two beautiful women crossing their paths every single year. Without social media and dating apps, the only time that you would run into an attractive girl was occasionally at the grocery store or a park or something. So when you saw her, you had to approach, or it would be another 6 months until you see another girl like her. There was more of an opportunity cost attached to not approaching her, because if you don't, you had no other options until fate put another one in your path. But now with the internet, the one that our brains doesn't understand, it seems like there are more and more beautiful people appearing on our radar every single day. If you like tall brunette girls, you can see 500 of them on your Instagram page in 5 minutes. And if you like blondes, just swipe on Hinge and you'll see 50 of them. So when you see that girl in public, you don't think anything of it, and all of your opportunities slip through the cracks every single time. So you return to Tinder and the cycle continues. I'd even say that these apps are hurting society as a whole. Everyone is doing this, which is making dating harder for everyone, which is making everyone so much lonelier. And it sucks. And this is just the start of the countless problems that these apps present. Let's talk about another one, profiles. If you see a girl in public, you can get a vibe for what she's actually like. You can see her mannerisms, hear her voice, see how she walks, see the friends that she associates with, take a look at the book she's reading or the brand of clothes that she wears and the coffee that she orders. When you run into her in public, you can paint a projection of what this girl's like and strike up a conversation, connect on shared topics and experiences, and have that physical connection that isn't available in the virtual world. And the thing is, you'll know if she's interested or not based on how she responds to your actions, and you can decide if it's worth asking her out or not. You approach her and you say, "Hey, what is that you're drinking?" And she responds, a venti Trenta vanilla ice mocha grande latte, and looks away. You're probably going to get the vibe that she doesn't want to talk to you. But if she turns around and smiles at you and says, "Oh, it's my blah 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 drink from Starbucks, it's really good, you should try it," and smiles, well, there's more of a chance that you should continue the conversation. But profiles on dating apps completely ignore this crucial part of the experience. Instead of seeing her, you see her curated image of what she wants other people to see her as. You see the topics that she thinks guys are interested in, the song that she thinks will add a quirky and creative aspect to her profile, photos that took 10 tries to take, and the other aspects of her personality that the world finds appealing. You message her because you find her attractive. She responds because maybe something on your profile interests her. You don't know if either of you actually like each other or not. You don't know how the conversation's going because it's all over text. So maybe you try to plan a date to meet up awkwardly when you don't even know what she actually looks like. So no wonder the dates never happen. It's uncomfortable for everyone. But approaching in person adds an easy filter that instantly lets you know if she's interested or not. And dating apps remove that and make it a lot more complicated to actually know how she feels, which is a recipe for disaster when she later finds out that she doesn't like you. If you approach in person, you can find that out right away and save a lot of time and energy. And not to mention, the ratio of guys to girls on Tinder is 3-to-1. So for every one girl you're interested in, there are 3 other guys competing, which means she gets overwhelmed and doesn't respond to any of them because she's also under the impression that she has unlimited options, and everyone is lonely and single. So, you want to break out of this cycle? What can you do? Well, delete dating apps and approach in person. Yes, I know that shit is way easier said than done, and approaching girls in public is hard and kind of scary. Yes, I know there's a risk of rejection, and yes, I know that you may not know what to say and how to act and all of those things. I've been there. But if you stick around in this video, I'll address those things as well. But let's start with the simplest one. Girls aren't being approached in public anymore. Because everyone in our generation is only participating on dating apps and not in the real world, these girls aren't being spoken to by guys in public. At least not guys our age. They may get hit on by creepy 45-year-olds, but that's not you. We could probably ignore the bars or nightclubs because everyone gets drunk and then magically has the courage to finally approach a girl. But on a typical day in public, nobody's asking for their numbers and nobody's asking them out. Trust me, I've asked around, and I know so many girls that have literally not had a single guy ask for their number sober, in person, in months. And I promise you, this is very common across the board. So, with that in mind, your chances are instantly higher in person than they are online. If there are 3 guys also saying the same stuff to every girl you match with on Tinder, there are probably 0 that you would be competing with in public. Maybe 1 on a good week, but most likely 0. And again, there are 1 billion options on Tinder. So, with that in mind, your chances are instantly higher in person than they are online. Which means when you approach her, you are by definition having a better chance than doing it on Tinder. And you may think, oh, well, what if she doesn't like me? What if she finds me ugly? This is going to sound kind of harsh, but if she finds you ugly in real life, and you may connect on a dating app, whenever you meet up in real life, eventually she's still going to find you ugly. So you might as well just go for it to begin with. And let me clarify something. Remember when we talked about the filtering process that happens in person? Yeah, that's just human nature. If she doesn't find you attractive or doesn't like you, that's nothing bad on you. If anything, you're saving the time that would be wasted on talking to her, flirting with her, and texting her just for her to inevitably think the same thing if she pulls up on a date with you through dating apps. If a girl isn't attracted to you, that means nothing about you. It means that there isn't chemistry between the two of you. For every girl that you see in public that you're not attracted to, do you instantly see her as a bad person? No, it's just called dating preferences. That's how the world has always worked. It's just an unfortunate reality that her taste doesn't align with yours. And that's bound to happen because there are billions of us on this planet, and not everybody likes the same type of person. Sure, you may get rejected, but with enough trial and error, you will find the person who appreciates you for who you are, not for the curated fake profile that you're trying to use to replicate Andrew Tate, because that's not how it works. And again, approaching in public does have a risk of rejection associated with it, but so does dating apps. The only difference is that the rejection is in person instead of behind a screen. It's either risk rejection or remain single forever, and the feeling of being single forever is definitely much worse in a subtle curve by a random girl whose name you don't even know. But here's another thing, and I touched on this in another video. You can't make finding a girlfriend the main focus of your life. Sure, if you really don't want to be single anymore, you should put somewhat of an emphasis on this to try to get out there and meet people. But don't sacrifice your main goals and objectives just to try to appeal to a romantic partner. So be on the lookout and be immersed in your physical environment so that when a pretty girl is around, you see her and think of approaching her. But don't tailor your life to increasing your chances to meet this girl. Keep working on your goals, and if she comes into your life by coincidence, act on it, but focus on yourself first, and I promise you'll be a lot happier. Girls can tell when guys aren't living up to their fullest potential and are sacrificing their vision, and you'll actually have a much better chance at attracting a long-term partner if you work on what really matters to you and explore your passions than you will by chasing women. Now, there are a lot of ways to meet girls in person, and maybe I could talk about that some other time, but the first step is deleting dating apps and immersing yourself back into the physical world of dating that people have been participating in for years. Trying to get a quick fix solution by paying money to a large corporation that controls an algorithm that recommends romantic partners to you is not natural. And if you delete these apps to rewire your brain and focus on improving your social skills to talk to girls in public, I promise you, you will be so much happier and it'll work out so much better for you. Sure, it will probably take a while and it will be hard and you will get rejected, but when are any of the good things in life easy? If something's easy, that means everyone can do it. And if everyone can do it, then there's no value in accomplishing it. Everyone can tie their shoes, so do you feel proud of yourself when you do it? No. The things that make you feel good are the things that are a challenge, and going through the exercise of immersing yourself back into the dating world will feel so much more rewarding when it does finally work out. If you extend your time frame and enjoy this process, then you're setting yourself up for success, and when you do see that girl that you want to approach, whether tomorrow, next week, or a year from now, you'll be in the right mindset and will finally be able to find the one. That's it for my talk today. Let's continue this discussion in the comments, and we'll talk again soon.